like a concession person, so then they need to like have some sort of rent or seasonal something.
No, we're gonna make a big deal about it, whatever, but, it's like, seriously. So how can I go back? They would have to be providing food and paying the books. And then they said.
Somebody does it, like, okay, it's 7:00, call the meeting order, we'll start out saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any public comment? Terry?
Yeah, David's not here, but, I rewatched the presentation that he did, and, the first thing he said is that people come here for the lake, which is true, they come here for the lake. He said, a survey said, that they wanted beach improvement, more activity, and usability. Now, I interpret that as somebody's asking me about the park. Usability, or green space, as David sometimes calls it, means usable space, right? Flat land, something where you can put a tent up, something where you, or not a tent, but a little canopy, or, somewhere where you can put your stuff down by the lake. And then they also said restrooms. Now, I interpret that, once again, as limited level land. His proposal of putting parking down here does not solve the parking accessibility issue. You're still dragging your crap up the hill. And as far as the pavilions go, if you could put those up in the park, I think it would be great, because once again, I'm gonna reiterate the fact that people come here for the lake. They don't come here for this section over here, they don't come here for that. The parking is an issue, that's a huge issue. And as far as the building use, I don't know. I couldn't figure out if that was coming out of a Spark grant that he wanted to apply for, or if that was coming out of our pocket, or exactly what, and the numbers were very different. I mean, I got a bid for the windows here where they're $30,000, and he said 19. I don't know how that's gonna happen. But anyway, after the meeting, I spoke to him, and I love his idea of adding pavilions and creating more parking space. But doing it down here, I think is really a waste of your time. People wanna be at the lake, they don't wanna be down here. So that's just my feeling. I mean, if you've ever taken a child to the beach before, or any of the public parks, it's all flat land. The bathrooms are right accessible to what you're doing. You don't wanna run a 4-year-old down 4 miles to a bathroom, because you're gonna have an accident happen, and then. So anyway, that's my feeling about that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Roger?
Going over this agenda here, is this something that could have been done at a regular meeting, or do we have to have a special meeting for this here? I mean, what's so important on this agenda that we had to have a special meeting?
Probably,
Started out with the CDs, and then people kept asking different things.
That's it, different things.
They're on the agenda, Roger.
I'm just
Those are the
saying,
things. They're on the
I'm just
agenda.
saying, why couldn't we have done this at a regular meeting?
Well, the CDs was because we didn't know if the resolution included investment or just depositing.
So that's good for a special meeting.
Now that it is, we do.
I'm saying before, never mind. I understand now where this is coming from.
okay, thanks, Roger. Anybody else? Barb?
I did listen to the last meeting. I did listen to the last meeting where Alicia asked for monies for a blueprint of the building. And I was surprised that really the old members never said to Alicia or to
Sarah.
Sarah, I was thinking Kim, but you're not Kim. that, we do have it.
But David told us.
No. We've known about this for years. And when you wanted to put up that firewall, it was talked about in a meeting about building plans. And these other members knew, and you were here when they
Still have
talked.
to have a stamp for him.
And we do have it. And you
No,
were aware of
For
it.
the new wall bar, not for an old wall.
I hear what you're saying, but we had blueprints. And so you were acting like you didn't know anything about it. And I think that's a travesty. It goes back to, we need a 5-year plan. That means to figure out where are we going, concentrate on where we're going, think about what are the strategies to get there, instead of going, we'll work on this, we'll work on this, we'll work on this. You know, we're not organized here. A 5-year plan is required for grants, and you have to have them. Just saying. I brought that up 4 years ago.
Thanks, Barb. Anybody else? Anything you wanna say, David, public comment?
Nope.
Not yet. Not yet, okay. If not, I guess we'll move on. Before we approve the agenda, we got a couple more things to add. 9.5 is an insurance claim. 9.75 is food out for the ball diamond and no park.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a question. How come we don't have the previous meeting's, minutes with the,
Because it's a special meeting.
before? Yeah, we did last spring. We had all sorts of them. But, okay. We don't have them.
Okay, motion by Patty, second by Leash to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, motion carried. First thing we got is the farmer's market.
I'll speak for Tara. They want to use the community center parking lot for the farmer's market. If we can do that as soon as possible, because sometimes those vendors just show up when they want. So, that's it.
I'll make a motion, we approve the chamber sponsoring farmers market and parking lot this summer.
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Sarah to okay the use of our parking lot for the farmer's market. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Bench.
Can we move that one?
Well, you were gonna ask that, Ellen,
Yeah, I haven't heard back from them.
then I guess we got nothing.
We just weren't sure, the presentation that the gentleman made from the Lions Club at the ballpark kind of sounded like they were hoping that we would purchase a bench. We felt that way after listening to the meeting, right? But then when we met with him, it sounded like they were purchasing it, so we're just kind of be on hold for now.
But he wanted,
I do have that literature
Oh,
sitting on the
okay.
table. I didn't even think about bringing it with me today, but I'll get it to you this week.
Yeah, we met with them and he showed us where they're gonna put it, where the pole is now, and making it pretty heavy duty, so should be nice.
Okay, that puts us down to investments for our CDs.
Okay, so what I'm gonna give you is, and I did check today, make sure rates stay the same. I'll give you the numbers, if anybody's interested. I guess we need to talk about dollars, how much we thought we could do. City Bank, 6 month, 4.5%, APY 4.58. If it's under 250,000, if it was over, they do 4.75. Huntington is still the same,
Which is
4% for 6 at 150,000, 200,000,
400% at,
$150,000 at 4% for 6 months, $200,000. And what he was giving me was, that was 4% as well. He was just giving me dollar figures of what we might have. 2.95. So, I don't know if anybody wants to do this, I can't do it without permission. And I'm not gonna do it without, anybody saying whether or not they thought we had it available. Cause that does not fall on
These
me.
ain't CDs that you're redoing,
These are CDs,
that we've already got.
we don't have any CDs, Kurt, whatsoever.
You want
in
to
this
take out our
township.
general fund.
That's where it would have to go, but, no, I don't wanna take it out, if we're gonna do it as a board, that's how we would have
We
to
take it.
decide. We don't.
Move it.
What was the 200,000, Nancy, from Huntington?
For Huntington,
I thought it was 4 to 150 and then.
no. They're both 4%, it's what we would get depending on the money we put in, so 150,000,
Mm-hmm.
he thought about $3,000,
Oh, okay,
okay?
so they're both 4%.
They're both 4%, so basically, if you're gonna look at it that way, and you wanna do anything, Sydney Bank is better, and their minimum is $500, but they're at 4.5. And again, those are all 6-month rates.
Are there any, what are the rates on savings accounts now? Are there any?
Nothing.
I-
0.01,
I can't access
0.05.
this information, so I can't answer that as far as Huntington.
Yeah.
Personal is,
In our general though, Pat, we're now getting 3% because he raised it for us last week. We were getting 0.3, we're now getting 3%.
On our general,
Yes, on the general fund.
how much we got in our general fund?
Well, this was as of the end of April. General had $774,423.
$747,000?
774,422, or 3 if you want to round it up.
Should we wait until we complete the budget, since we're only a month away from completing the budget, to know what we're planning for next year?
That's a question to everybody.
that would make sense to me. But with rates, you just never know. I mean, it could drop tomorrow. So,
I think that'd be a good idea, myself.
It'd keep things on a nice neat timeline that way, and we would know that we were 6 months in on day one of our new budget, and that would not be a bad thing at all.
Okay.
We got the numbers, and I will check again in June, see where we're at.
Okay. Any more on that? Okay, I moves us down to the Sparks grant.
And I just had that on there, David had sent us all the email asking us to reconsider his proposal for submitting a part of Spark grant.
Well, in light of the fact that we know that our 5-year Parks and Rec plan is expired, it kind of writing applications for grants at all is at the skids until we get a new 5-year Parks and Rec plan together. So, yeah, in the budget, analyzing it and calculating, let's throw some planning money into it for things like a 5-year rec plan.
And 5-year board thing.
Let's start with one thing at a time.
Well. So what do we wanna? I personally don't think it hurt for him to apply, because from the lady on the grants now, she says, but Sarah disagrees.
It's not me disagreeing, I just went to the state of Michigan, and you need to have a 5-year Parks and Rec plan
But that lady.
to receive state money or federal
But what
money.
I'm talking about, is that lady says it can't be double dipping on our grants for the park.
But you said it could be stackable.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
what it
clarification
came
we
out
need to get.
as, was stackable, that's why everybody was so excited about it.
That's what we need to get some clarification.
I'm just concerned about the fact that we have a project to finish before we start another project, is my thought.
Had the building not been included in this email, I would have, I think it would have been a great idea to add it. But he included the building, and we're still not sure what we're gonna do with the building. I'm not sure what I wanna do with the building until I get all the numbers. Had the building not been added on that, I thought it would have been a good idea to stack it.
Well, what Roger said at the last meeting was right. It was,
Check on that.
yep, it was voted 4-1 to save the building this
Okay.
last time around.
But that doesn't mean that we can't get a print and do copies.
No,
and
I
go
didn't,
from
no, I
there.
didn't say
Right,
that.
we did vote.
But you
And it was
answered
an
that
okay
question.
vote to get
Yeah,
that.
right, yeah.
And thank you for getting that answer for me, because I did ask him about that, because I wanted clarification on it. You know, I don't wanna do
However, I
something
still
that's.
think we need to check with MTA,
Right.
because we had paid on that project. We paid Red Cedar for our asbestos report, and that was all involved in removing that building. that portion
But then
of
we
the building.
voted after that. Well, Nancy,
You
we,
have
we
started a
approved
project, you have paid money, and then you tried to jerk it
we
back out.
approved to fix the roof over there too, and then when this one went down, we put that
Well,
one on
we'll see. I
hold,
think
so
we
we
need to
never
check
denied
into
that
that.
either, so we could go ahead and fix the roof.
I think we need to check into MTA
And I
again.
think until we get a decision on that.
Yeah, obviously, we're not sure where we're going.
I think the ideas are good, it's that building in there. If that would come out, I would have no problem considering adding it to that.
Right, but without that rec plan, we can't, it's
Right.
kinda moot, all of the discussion is
That's
moot.
true.
Okay, I want you to repeat something. We can't do, you're saying the Sparks? Because of that, how do we get the grant we got?
Because it didn't expire until just recently.
Ah, gotcha, when did it expire?
That's what we're checking out. The exact date.
Okay. When will we know?
When I can get a chance to look at it, hopefully next couple of days.
Okay,
I'll send you an email.
sounds good.
Compactor.
Can you pass these down, please? And what I want you to read is at the bottom. And it's concerning the fact that we don't want a jury rig, sorry about that language, a single phase to a three-phase. Single phase tends to wear out the motor faster and you end up having a lot of issues, downtime and repairs needed with the single phase. So that also leads us to a couple other things. We should pass these around. These are beautiful pictures of our dumpsters, some today and some yesterday. I cannot believe what people are leaving there, which is another reason why we need to go to these compactors. Brenda Tater is applying for a grant. It is
Looks like a yard sale.
I know it does. An Eagle grant, Eagle Recycling grant for the 4 remaining sites. Help cover the cost of these, but we are at a stalemate, with where it's gonna be located, because we already know it's too much money to run a 3-phase over to the fire barn location.
So what's wrong with 180 volts? Who told you this? This lady here?
Jake Ellison, gets us these compactors, okay?
Because if it can be run on 208, Nancy, the only difference is you can buy 3-phase motors cheaper. I tell you the
So-
truth, 3-phase will even cost you more to run than 208.
So you're going to go ahead and if we ever get these compactors, and keep in mind, those things will go someday, and we won't have any recycling if we don't get
Right.
these compactors. And I don't think something that we rent, we're not gonna be able to run them very long if we burn up their motors constantly.
I don't
And
think.
where did you get your electrical degree? You got a master's?
I've got both in my shop. Yeah, and I've had it in my milk
I
department.
think we kind of, and I realize you use those at work, but
Right.
these are powerful motors. So you don't wanna believe me, you don't wanna believe the people we're getting them from, I don't know who you will believe. But
If
those
you talk
things
to
are
an
done.
electrician,
Yes, I have, and he agrees.
he agrees.
And he actually said, go to the 208, if you need to put up extra lights, you can run up there, no problem, without paying more for your lights. So if you don't wanna believe these people, I guess we can tell, solid waste, we don't even want compactors. But that's a bad way to go.
Well, because they're tired of having to clean everything up, so we're not
Well,
going
you
to
see
be their
what mess
favorite
they
part.
were yesterday and today, and the
Then my only question is,
cardboard
it
is full and it
gonna
was
change
empty
with the
2 days
compactor?
ago. What?
Is it gonna change with the compactor? I
Yes,
guess-
because we will have a camera and a recording. That's all, this is all involved in that. We're gonna have that too. And when I talked to CMS, they actually said, you see a white station wagon pull up there? How did they say that to me, Jeremy? You touch it and it goes to exactly where the feed was when it got there. That's what Brandon said to me.
Yeah, it's got AI capabilities that you can
Yeah,
type in descriptions.
right.
you
And
can
maybe
pick
if
up.
we had a camera out here, and we don't, but people are just trashing them.
I'm just concerned that it's not gonna change anything, but I'm sorry.
Well, there is a way to do fencing too, and yes, they might put, but if a camera, then you've got a deterrent, then you've got maybe a way to go after somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are there laws they're breaking by, I'm playing the devil's advocate and I apologize, but because you have someone on camera, besides public shaming them, what is the alternative?
Well, let's see, wouldn't Mark Saban
I
tell
don't
somebody
know,
that was gonna dump tires
I'm just asking.
after we shut down tires, after tires and
You call the
electronics?
sheriff.
We were behind the sheriff's department, and he said, I'll arrest you right now, because I'm gonna walk over to the sheriff's
did say
department if
that.
you dump those.
But you know what I mean, I'm curious what,
I believe it's called littering, Pat.
I asked, I
You know,
apologize for
I
that.
mean, if you're asking me, if you wanna ask a
I'm
question like
curious.
that ahead of time, ask me ahead of time, and I'll get you the answer.
Okay, I just was
But it's
curious.
littering, you can't litter.
Okay.
You shouldn't litter. And that's littering.
Well, and you're on someone else's property, so yeah, you could get probably trespass if you were not behaving yourself, would be my guess.
Okay. You know, and like I said, I just, to put that layer in there, you've gotta have something to back it
They're
up.
all getting cameras, all of them. I'll call Darren Dodd in Lakeview and see what he does. He's the city manager up there. He said the first ones, he's got the cameras.
So are we thinking this spot here then?
This is a board decision.
Right.
It is on Main Street. It probably should be someplace here. 3 phases on Main Street.
Right, so the question would be that the blacktop would need to be tore up in
It's gotta
that
have
corner to
concrete
put
and-
the cement down?
Same thing as what would have happened
Right,
in Ballpark,
right,
because
yeah.
that's blacktop out there as well.
And then, is it, would it be a bigger area?
It's not gonna be any bigger than what we'd ask for in concrete out there.
No, but then what we use right
There's
there.
a different.
Different configuration, roll up to Stanton and check theirs out,
I've
because it's
seen the
really
ones-
neat.
Yeah, or
unit.
Edmore or Lakeview. I wish
I
you'd
just-
gone to those. It's very informative.
And they are seeing good results and less junk, they're having less fly around stuff, it doesn't come flying out of the trucks, they're
Right,
not
yeah.
a noise nuisance with the trucks banging, like, there are a lot of advantages to them. And he's worked hard to get this program rolling. And if Brenda's trying to get another grant to cover the costs that are falling through the middle, I think we really need to work on this and figure out where it's gonna go.
I mean, she actually asked me in an email, will you guys be ready to go by September? And I'm like, oh, we're so far away from that.
I think what we should do is get a hold of whoever you are, with consumers, and see what it's gonna cost us to have 3-phase brought over to here.
I can do that.
So
have
we
to-
know that would be in the discussion whether or not to run 208 or move it up here or stay out there and run
Okay.
208.
Consumers will work only with our electrician. So,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
we just dealt with that, so yes,
yes,
we had,
they're only gonna work with our electrician.
They should give you an answer. They did on my farm, because I had to go to 3-phase from the road to run my new
I can
mixer.
show you the email from Michelle Kent. She said, have your electrician get with me, I will work with them on this.
Because I talked to him myself. But, well, we'll have to get an electrician and
I've already got a bid from a sort of bid from an electrician, he gave me a ballpark.
Or it costs you 3-phase run across?
For him to do the electrical that is needed and to work with consumers, okay?
What's that number?
It was between 12 and 14.
Thousand?
He needs to know exactly what we're doing, where. He needs to run some conduit under the concrete. He's gotta have shut-offs for both compactors. And again, there's a grant. Mark Saban has collected money from townships. So we don't know if we have the grant yet. So they're trying to offset it, but yeah, we're gonna have to pay for it first. Gonna have some outlay first. So, do we wanna go anywhere with these compactors or not? We've gotta make a move forward or it's just dead in the water.
I would like to make a motion that we contact the electrician, you've been in contact with them. He is going to then contact consumers.
Correct.
Do we have an ability at that point to have a little closer ballpark?
Then he can get something from consumers.
So we hire him for the consultation to work with consumers, and then we have another check back.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Sarah, seconded by Alicia, your electrician or the one?
Contact the electrician.
Contact our electrician,
For
work
them
with
to
consumers.
contact consumers.
Give us a better price on the 3-phase being brought across the road to the compact.
Price on 3-phase.
Well, it's gotta come down Main Street too.
Yeah.
So we
Could I
need,
What's
just
right
say,
across the road,
give price
yeah.
on 3-phase?
she said it's on Main Street. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's all
And then
she's
they can
telling me.
figure out where it is.
Yes.
So from there.
They know where it's at.
So contract with the electrician, and then he would get all consumers, and then he'd be able to give us a better price on the 3-phase.
Well, consumers would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the motion. Thank you.
No electrician. Ours, the one we've
It's
been
Brooks.
using, yours.
It's Brooks.
Brooks?
Pat was concerned about us paying too many vendors, this one vendor the same amount of money, so, or always using the same vendor. So I went with a different vendor.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Okay. That moves us down. I gotta see what you guys wanna do. Back in February, as you as the board members all know, we had $1,000 come up missing. We turned it in our insurance. We've got coverage for the $500 deductible. We turned it into the cops. Cops only investigated 2 people. And then they said they didn't have no more good leads to go on. But now we're waiting for, we got to June 28th, we're running out of time on our insurance. Nancy don't feel eligible not eligible, but that she wants to fill out the paperwork. And all I was asking, well, cause it needs notary, but I told her we'd take care of the notarization. So we need the paper filled out how she figured she was $1,000 short.
At the end of the day, it was gone.
Right.
That was pretty easy, Kurt.
So I need to know if you want us to let the 500 go down the drain, or,
Well, I read through their forms. There's no safe, there's no lockbox, which is what our insurance company requires. So they're not gonna pay the claim. Even our auditor said, if you get reimbursed, as in, she doubts it.
Well, all we either need is you to fill out the paper, how you determine we had a loss, and we go from there and see if we get it or
I've
not.
talked to the insurance company, I've talked to the police. I've talked to every person on this board.
When's the last you talked to insurance? Did they just email us again here the other day saying you're running out of time?
There was a lady that called me and wanted to, I don't know who she wanted to talk to, and I said, you might as well talk to me. It happened in my office.
Right.
No one else was there that you are asking to speak to. So I went over and said, I don't know. They paid me, I cashed out at the end of the day, I had $1,000 gone.
Well, and if a lockbox and a safe are part of the insurance company's protocol, then maybe we need to look at adding that to the budget.
Maybe.
So we don't fall outside of the parameters.
So we withdraw the claim, the insurance claim?
I've done as much as I'm willing to do with it.
You don't wanna fill out the paper saying how you came up short.
I told them how I came up.
You did
short.
tell them.
I told them how I came up short.
Okay.
I told the officer,
I guess I'm
it
not,
was gone.
I guess, I'm sorry, but I don't understand why writing that description is,
I've verbally given it twice, verbally twice.
And it should be in the police report,
Exactly.
and they have a copy of that, right? So.
If they don't, they
why else-
should.
I'm with you, I don't understand why they want it, again.
Especially if they're not going to like
Especially
cover
if they're not
anything.
gonna-
but we don't know that unless we do the form.
Even the police said they weren't gonna investigate anymore. Where does that leave us?
The police said they didn't have no more to go on. If you want,
I gave him a list of 7 different people and he talked to me.
you want him to still interview those other people?
They said they were dropping it.
No, Mike,
Kurt, that's what you told me.
I told you, Nancy, the county, our old county cop stopped by my house, said he didn't have no more where to go.
Well, okay, I'm gonna back up there, cause he also asked you if he should bring it up at the board meeting, and you told him no, and now you're bringing it up. So where are we with this?
For the investigation.
Well, yeah, that's right, it should have
But
been.
then I've talked to Mike and Andy, and they said, hey, he's just stopped it. What?
Who's Mike and Andy?
Mike's our chief of police up there, and Andy's the undersheriff.
Okay,
And they said, if you want it brought back in the investigation,
then bring them back in, give them the people, let them
Okay.
talk to people, but I'm not filling out that form.
hey,
I've told them everything I can tell them.
see what the insurance says.
So the general fund funded the tax account $1,000.
Well, Pat, as I called MTA, and they also said, why don't you have anything to put your money in? Cause I don't. And she told me directly where it should, that's part of the, PTAP, property tax administration fee, that's where that comes from, you get that from tax.
Not saying that we should have a safe, but I don't think this deal with a safe. Are you gonna get up, go and lock your safe after every deposit?
I'd have a lockbox, and you know what, that's the same thing Alicia pointed out to me, Nancy, if you had a lockbox, you could see if someone grabbed it.
Yep.
It's noticeable.
But this money wasn't taken during the night or nothing, so, and you usually go to the bank every day, don't you?
I go to the bank when I can get to the bank. You
Bank.
gotta remember, some days I'm here too late to get to the
Yeah.
bank. But during the day, yeah, somebody could grab it. I am now locking my doors even when I go to the bathroom, which I got laughed at yesterday for that.
That's what you should be proud of. Okay, I'll see what the insurance wants to do. 975. Nancy, you can speak on that.
Yeah, this was just a couple people, I've, watching ball games out at Knoll Park. A couple people had said, couldn't we have food here? There is no longer any of the youth league, boosters, if you call them that, whatever, out there. I said, I don't know. I said, I can ask if the board would give permission to have food, but you're gonna need to turf down people that would wanna bring in the food, and they would have to follow all health regulations, so it's just whether or not they could follow through with that. I don't think we need to get involved with it any more than they could have permission if they followed any health department rules. There's not, what did you ask about, Pat, that the youth league used to sell food?
So they use a concession stand, or they bring their own?
I would say that little concession stand near, field one looked like the best, but they'd have to bring their own table, they'd have to bring coolers, you know? Cause that's got a front on it where you could, you know, people could walk up, so, up to you guys. I told them I'd ask, doesn't matter to me which way it goes.
It's needed.
And you know, there are 3 teams out there every time I'm there. Yeah, and, you know, this season's gonna be on the 3rd week in June, I think, but every place I've been, every other place I've been, they have food,
Some sort.
something.
And the only thing I'm gonna compare it to is allowing the food truck on the beach front. The board chose not to do that. There's people that are calling, asking if they can set up tents down on the beach, down there to sell floaties and stuff for the, you know, I mean, different location, different
Right.
story, but it's kind of the same type of thing. It's an individual making money on township property. So that's,
Well, so does the farmer's market.
there you go. So, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
Any thoughts, anybody? I don't know.
Yeah, and their season, by the time we have another board meeting, their season is gonna be almost done.
Right, so either, you know, we can just say, I can just say there's lack of interest, nobody really wanted you to be here. Who'd here?
How about maybe next year, plan this before the season starts,
Well,
and come to us with
You
a
know, it
plan.
makes me wonder if they expected it, well, I know why they expected it, because they've been to other places that had food.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
totally a regular thing, but it
Yeah.
usually does go through the right channels, so tell them, you know, it's a great idea, but we're too far
And I
behind the
don't know
ball at
if,
this point, but come with us.
Who is running the youth league, Pat? Do you have any idea?
The only person I know involved is Susie Berry.
Who's the youth league?
Yep.
Okay.
Is Mike Reeder still on it, or did he get off?
I don't know. Susie Berry's the one that,
Okay.
only one I know.
So who'd they want to supply the food?
She just,
Oh, they got a vendor
she
somewhere?
actually mentioned, Oliver's, and she mentioned, whoever's in Vestaburg. I guess they take pizzas out to the racetrack.
Oliver's does, yeah.
No, the Vestaburg one, she said, I don't know, I don't go to the racetrack. So she was just naming people that she's seen that sell food around here and take food. You know, they're willing to do that.
I guess, my idea is if it's for the youth league, if they got someone that wants to bring them.
Well, that's
do it.
just it,
I'd say youth league and youth league only, or.
yeah, this is not somebody that's part of the youth league,
Oh.
so just so that you know that, aware of that.
But it's a ball team that's playing out there all the time, or?
Yeah, girls are out there when I've been out there, and I think they're there 4 nights a week.
I guess I would make sure that they don't leave us a bunch of trash.
Well, that's true, but you
They
know.
take care, if they're gonna do it, they take care of their trash.
You know,
Are there
right,
trash bins
but
out
just so
there?
you know that.
Are
this-
there trash bins
I
over
think
there?
there's barrels in there.
there's 2 in that little concession thing, cause the little
Is
boys
that
got
lodge
into
or
them.
something? Do we have keys to it? I don't even know.
Yeah, the janitors.
Okay, they can get into that area to sell, okay, they don't need to be in any
Oh.
other part of it,
Not in, okay.
cause the 6-year-old little boys are in there playing all the time. Just so you know though, this is not anything the youth league is gonna make money on.
No, right.
This is an
Okay.
individual, right?
If, yeah, if they
They're
wanna
just gonna
approach them
supply
and
the
get 'em,
people food and drinks.
Right.
yeah.
And you've got all day tournaments out there coming up right before long too,
Oh,
so,
that's
you
true,
do.
yeah.
so that'd probably be.
So, you know, and she was looking at Oliver's because it's a local company. They should
We
be able
can-
to make the profit
We
first,
can
maybe
do a
before.
trial run this summer with them and see how it works out.
Okay.
Shut them down next year if we don't like it.
Tell her if she wants
Yeah.
to follow through and contact people, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion? Pat down, Pat.
Yeah. Nancy made a motion and Kurt seconded it.
Yeah.
And what was it, to allow,
Some food service, whoever, I guess.
do we have a name?
The possibility of,
Oliver's and-
independent food service
Place up
company
to stand, right?
coming, it was Westford,
Or
coming
Westford,
in
yeah.
and selling food and drinks at the ballpark.
Possible independent food service to sell at,
No park.
okay.
As long as they pick up their trash.
And follow health department regulations,
Yes,
and do
okay.
we
And
wanna
follow
have
regulations,
a
yes.
hold harmless, just a little ditto to cover our butts? Like a liability release?
Yeah, I know. What do we do with, I mean, cause we sell food.
I think that should have it too.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
check on that.
Okay,
so do you want me to tell them anything or tell them to check on it next year?
no, I'm new this year.
Should we vote then?
We did. Oh, no.
No, we didn't
We just
vote.
made it, yeah.
Just a motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
Opposed.
motion carried.
Okay.
Okay, that puts us down, public comment again. John?
So I had a question a couple months ago about funding for the park project, and I was assured that we have enough money to do phase one of the park project. I'm curious, Nancy or Patty, when you do monthly accounting for meetings, is there a way of having a column, a summary, something that shows what we still have in terms of a balance towards the park? And I'm also curious what, if someone would care to elaborate about the 5-year park plan that we need for the Sparks grant
For
that,
all grants.
okay, but does that include the Sparks grant that we're running on for the park now that we are banking on?
The one we applied for, Sparks, yes, it does that. It was not expired when the original MNTNRF was applied for, so that should be fine.
You think so, even though we
Yeah.
haven't got
We need
our
to,
project completed?
it'd look a lot better if we're like, oh yeah, that's in our, in the pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who's in charge of the parks grant, not parks, the Park and Recreation Committee here for this township?
there is one.
There isn't one.
Yeah, didn't it get disbanded or something?
It did.
That's kind of a problem.
So did the board disband that committee, or did they disband themselves?
I think most of the people resigned from that committee.
Yeah, I think it was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
Wasn't that right after we got the grant?
I think so.
I think it was before the grant.
Yeah.
Well, at one time, okay, who did the questionnaire? Wasn't that out of DPW? Or not DPW?
EDA?
The DDA, didn't you do the survey about what was needed in the township? Who did that?
We did a survey in 2015 or so,
Okay.
and it had a lot of input on what was needed, how to improve the park, and there was a lot of data there.
I guess, going back to, you've gotta have a committee, and you've got, I mean, at one time, I was on the committee with the parks, with, Jeremy, and Diane Rydell was on that, Patty, you were on that. I was trying to think, Pat McShosh, and then Garrett Barker joined. So I'm just wondering if someone from that group can recreate, I'm saying that because I'm not on the committee anymore, could recreate that committee and come up with a plan, Jeremy. So, I'm just saying, because I've applied for many, many grants working in the school district. You have to have a 5-year plan. And I keep on saying it to the board, you have to say, we're gonna create a 5-year plan. And otherwise, you're blown out of the water. It's just, when I look at your plan, you don't have any plan, you don't have any goals, you don't have any objectives. Those are the things that they're asking for, that's the language that they're asking for.
I'm gonna say something real quick. Someone told me several years ago that Carson City has a 5-year plan that's as simple as, we are going to do as much as we can do, I'm being very simple here,
No, it
okay?
is, it's very, very true.
We're gonna do the best we can for our community in the next, you know, and whatever, and it was like 2 sentences, and that was their plan,
It was
and it
very
worked,
short.
that's all they needed.
Yeah, it's not brainstorming.
So, yeah, you don't need to go over and above,
That's
just,
exactly what we're
yeah.
trying to do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Doesn't that 5-year plan need to be approved by the county, one of the county organizations?
Not the board plan.
No, the 5-year plan.
We send a copy to the West Michigan Planning Commission or whatever, but not the county. Not my understanding, but I could be wrong.
Go ahead.
How long has it been since they started planning the improvements to the park?
Oh gosh, it's been 5 years
So longer than 5 years?
only?
I was just wondering.
I have to stop you later. 5 years, yes. Am I correct, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna point to Alicia, the people that were on the committee for the building. Patty was on the committee, Sherry, Shirley, David, myself, and Kim Morgan, and me, and Diane Randall, and we did plans, we came up with building plans, options for the community, we had open meetings for the community, we had surveys. If you haven't seen any of that.
I have made plans with Sherry to get with Sherry in the next couple of weeks and talk to her.
Yeah, that would be good, because, and I hear you asking for things, I think it's like deja vu all over again. It's deja vu all over again. And it goes back to, if you have a 5-year plan, you can say, is this in our 5-year plan? If it's in our 5-year plan, how are we focusing on this? It gets you together to focus as a team. Because right now, everybody's got their own agenda.
Right.
And it's just, it ain't working for the community.
Sherry?
Yeah, don't you have all 5 phases or something of that park? Where's Jeremy? There you are. You have like 5 phases, did you not?
This is public comment.
Oh, that's right, we can't talk to each other,
You
I'm
can
sorry.
comment to the board.
I think,
Jeremy, do you have those plans?
If the board would look, I don't think we put them out. Well, we did just get some new drawings for down there, cause we've been waiting for Eagle to approve it to go out for bids, and,
I gave everybody, or I think Sarah gave everybody copies, didn't she?
you get one? Maybe I got,
Me too. Oh.
maybe I got.
I gave Kurt one copy when you gave it to me.
I'm sorry, I thought I asked you to give everybody.
But, they said we needed a little wider lane sidewalk. So now they've got it, instead of, it was gonna be a 4-tier deal. It looks like it's gonna be a 3-tier with a wider place to even lay and then a wider sidewalk. And with, slope now, tell me if I'm wrong, Patty, but, they don't think we need to do our tier work at the end like you were, switchback, like we's gonna have to, cause must be ain't gonna have diesel. And they're thinking now that might knock $100,000 off from our bid, so.
That would be wonderful.
That would be great.
Isn't there an issue with parking? Didn't we say we were gonna make some handicap
Parking's
parking
over at-
accessible?
On the street level, right over here by the historical
Yeah,
society, across the street,
I don't know,
or handicap spots over there.
Oh, okay, okay.
so it seemed to be good.
Cool. So this is what we, we'll bring that last check for, are these?
This is what he sent to me yesterday
Yesterday.
and called me, because he's been working with Alec at Eagle to meet the standards that she has.
So we can get it out for bids.
Yeah. So this is great. He was very excited when he called yesterday, 5 o'clock, because not having to put the switchbacks in will save so much money
And time.
and time, so he was excited. He was talking to Alexia, I haven't heard today anything.
back to you guys, okay?
I would, like to comment about food out at Knoll Park. Well, I think it's a really great idea. I've got a couple different ideas that if the township is going to allow somebody to come in on township property to make their own profit, I think number one, there's a liability for the township. And also, I guess, verifying that,
Sarah had brought that up.
in verifying that these people are licensed with the every like little carnival wagon that goes to any other township or county has to be registered with that county and inspected. And also, I think it might be kind of a cool idea that if that's going to be allowed to, maybe do some type of publication, notification to like make it an equal opportunity event to where anybody could come and do it, as opposed to just picking and choosing who gets to do it.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, Jeremy's business might like to come down there and do it.
They all go to Jeremy's after the game.
But maybe they go during and but I'm just saying too, you know, in the looks of being fair.
Yeah.
And the point of what she's saying is, you remember the food truck that always used to be down at the other shop? He always parts out to the Ionia Youth League, along with 4 or 5 other food vendors, whether it be barbecue, what was that one, the other had the snow cones, you know, there's a variety of them. And so they all had the opportunity to do it, whether they wanted to or not, you know, that was their choice. So, I guess that's what we're trying to get at.
Right.
You know. It's a great idea, just let everybody else have a piece of it too, that being the case. Then just have a food truck war out there, that'd be kinda cool.
Yeah.
They do that in Iowa too at the fairgrounds, they'll have food trucks come in.
Yeah.
Been there.
Right.
It was in this.
Was you done, John, with yours?
No,
Go ahead.
I am curious though, our Sparks grant is still good. We have no
300,000.
issues whatsoever, it's still rolling good, right?
That's a Michigan National Trust Fund Resources grant, as far as I have read, yes.
It's just a huge portion of what's covering it, that's all,
Right.
curious.
I'm going to support what John had said about a better delineated treasury report. When we get money in from the marijuana grant, it would be nice to have that listed on there so we know how much we've received, and then to have how much we've spent in for capital projects. It's what we've got is a list of checks. I don't have a list of.
They don't get the revenue and expenditure report, do they?
No, all we get is what you see right there on that little piece of paper.
You know,
They get the treasurer's report that you provide.
right, that's the balance in the accounts, that's all that is.
That's just really not clear enough.
No, it's just the balance in the accounts, that's all that is.
However, what we're asking is, can you make it better delineated than without checks and so forth? Because it's not really clear how much have we spent on electricity, how much do we spend on this, how much do we, for equipment, how much was spent for equipment, how much was spent for that? I mean,
We would have to be recreating our entire thing every month, and I do understand why you'd want that, so.
I'm not asking you to recreate it, it should be.
Get together with. Well, she doesn't give you the project or the revenue and expenditure reports. And then you've got
I'm just saying it would be
you know.
helpful for the community if we had it delineated better. You've got our money. And it's just like having a teenager with a credit card, we have no idea what's happening.
I never gave my teacher a credit card.
It's like on the last report, it showed like over 4,000 going to Lee's Car Care. What was that for? Nobody knows.
Vehicle repair.
It's a body shop.
Well, we know it's a body shop, but.
It's our white pickup got in an accident on Main Street, bounced on it.
But what I'm saying though, Curtis.
There, I know what you're saying, yeah.
It would be nice. It'd be nice to share with the stakeholders of the community. And I'm giving a fell on my stake to the community.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think, Corinne, the only thing I'd like to say, and that's regard to the Spark grant, as in the letter I sent you guys, the grant, or that project could have been split into two, delicious. The other thing, that the way the grant is set up, there's no out-of-pocket. There's a no matching fund opportunity. So by not applying for it, you're looking at, and not going for something that doesn't have any out-of-pocket costs. I'm disappointed, but I understand the board's concerned about having more than one project going forward. That's all.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Nancy to adjourn at 7:55. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. See you. Take care. Take care, my friend.
You get a better spot.
It's down in the field.